Welcome to my home, my kitchen, the place that I feel the most happiest in. I am going to be sharing some amazing things with you this Sunday. Now, vegan food and vegan things. Not necessarily just vegan. We're going to be talking about those things that are good for the soul. So this Vegan Soul Sunday, we're going to be cooking a traditional Southern succulent dish, okay? I'm from the South, and my grandmother and my mother loved to cook some good food, okay? Now, these foods were specialty items in our household, so I decided to feature them here now today. So enjoy some of these meals that we have upcoming here and now. Let's go.
So all you're going to need for this recipe for your macaroni cheese is the Jovial gluten-free pasta. This pasta is really good. We love it for, like I said, macaroni and cheese. I'm going to be making 2 of those. I like some Earth Balance vegan butter. I also use non-chicken bouillon cubes. It does give this extra sense of flavor. Don't worry, it's not going to be too chicken-like, okay? Nutritional yeast for this. Plus, it's good with vitamin B. And I actually like the nacho spice nutritional yeast. My daughter loves it a lot for our macaroni cheese, and it's really tasty. So I don't put a lot of this in there. I use the cheddar cheese, Viola cheese slices, and some organic coconut milk. I'm going to add our macaroni cheese into water, of course, like you normally always do. Of course, be more careful than me when adding the macaroni cheese. Alright, so while you're cooking your macaroni cheese, you want to go ahead and add your butter in there. Make sure you do this all kind of around the same time. Add you some butter. You want to add you some coconut milk. I always add enough to get it like saucy, and then I wait to add the rest. I never add it all at one time. So I put about a half a cup of butter and about a half a cup of the coconut milk in there to get it nice and creamy. Now while that is extremely hot, this is where the bouillon cube comes into play. You can see it here. You want to add about a half of one of these, okay? About a half of the bouillon cube. Not much. It's just for seasoning. So, not much, okay? About a half of one of those. And you want to begin to add your vegan cheese, because vegan cheese takes a little while to melt. So, you want to begin to add that in gradually. So that's about a half a cup there, and we're adding it in. Okay, so while you have the cheese going, you really want to begin to add your nutritional yeast. Whoa, I did dump a lot in there. It's okay, trust me. So I did dump a lot of nutritional yeast. It's okay. It's all going to be super cheesy in just a minute. So you're going to turn this down because, of course, you don't want it to burn, but you see the cheese getting in there and melting, okay? Now this is where you're going to begin to add a little bit of your, see, look at all that cheese on there on that spoon. This is where you're going to begin to add very little of your nacho spice. I like it because it adds a kick to it without putting pepper into it. I discovered this by just like practicing, and it works out really good. My daughter absolutely loves this macaroni cheese, and it turns out really flavorful. Okay, you don't have to add salt because remember your bouillon cube is going to do the seasoning for you. So you turn it all the way down, turn it off. I have a gas stove here, so I'm going to cook without it. And then I'm going to add the rest of my cheese here. And voila, ta-da, we're going to get some macaroni and cheese. So there is your yummy, most delicious macaroni and cheese, okay? Now this dish is wonderful. Of course, you can bake it in the oven if you like to bake it for a couple minutes. However, I found with using coconut milk, it does separation. So you don't want to put it in the oven. You kind of just want to put it in a bowl and cover it with foil. It'll still be cheesy for dinner time.
Up next, black-eyed peas.
Alright, so this time we're going to be making black-eyed peas. I know. My grandma would not like this part because she's very old-fashioned and traditional. But we are making a little shortcut because, you know, I'm just trying to hurry up and get this food in my tummy. So I did get some non-BPA lining black-eyed peas, okay? Some plain black-eyed peas. I don't want to show the brand here. But, you know, because it's definitely not sponsored. But, you know, black-eyed peas, and get started and go ahead and place those into your pot. Now for black-eyed peas, they come really plain and simple. We're actually going to be using this not beef bouillon cube. It is vegan and gluten-free. I absolutely love these. When I'm cooking small things like this, I only add about half of this into our mix. We don't need a lot. A little onion powder and garlic powder, and we're going to turn it down, let it cook, and stir it up and let the magic kind of take place in the pot.
My grandma called it sweet potato souffle. My mom called it sweet potato souffle. And I end up calling it sweet potato souffle. Up next, we have sweet potato souffle.
Alright, so for the next part, we're going to be making the sweet potato souffle. I use a little bit of cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves. Your natural cinnamon, some vegan butter here, a little bit of fine sea salt, pure vanilla, and vegan marshmallows. Yeah, that's right, baby. Say it again. Say
Vegan marshmallows.
vegan marshmallows. Yummy. Okay, for this next part, the sweet potatoes, we cook them, we drain them. We're just going to mash them up. Some are going to be a little extra soft, but some are going to be a little hard, just depending on how you cut them. And this is where you're going to add your vegan butter into the mix, okay? I'm using half a stick of butter here. So you just want to mix all of this up. Whoa. Mix all of this up to where it's nice and well incorporated here. I know it looks like a lot of butter, but trust me, you are going to need the flavor. Now, once you add this butter, I like to add my liquids first. I'm going to be adding about a little bit of vanilla. Not much, probably about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And mixing every single thing all together before I add my last bit of. We like for it to be a little gooey, like for it to be a little sticky, not much. Then you're going to begin to add some of your cinnamon. Now the cinnamon gives it the fresh taste, and then the clove and the cardamom gives it a little bit of nutty taste, okay? If you have nutmeg, you can use that as well. And we're going to add a little bit of sea salt here. Add your sea salt. And this is one of those dishes where you really want to make sure you're tasting as you're going, because
And these are yummy marshmallows.
yeah, they are yummy, aren't they? They're vegan too. They're vegan marshmallows. The vegan marshmallows, we found them at Whole Foods, but I'm sure you can find them online if you don't have a store near you. By the way, this is not sponsored by Whole Foods, but you know, if a Whole Foods is looking for a sponsor, please feel free to send us an email, alignwitharianna@gmail.com. Okay, so you want to mix this up, get it nice, well incorporated. As you can see, it's still hot, and you don't want it to be like super soft and mushy, so that's probably enough mixing there. You're going to add your last piece of butter. I'm going to break that up and just let it kind of cook into it, not really mix it up anymore. And you are going to make sure that the taste is on point. one of the ways that I was taught how to taste food is take your fist here. I don't know if you can see it. Take your fist here and put a little bit on the hand, and yeah, taste it. Okay. Oh, how could I forget? I forgot one thing. I know what it's missing. So I totally forgot, you guys. You are going to need maple syrup. Yes, some good old maple syrup. Maple syrup is wonderful when you're making something like this. You don't want to add too much, but it does give it that mapley like flavor, and it sweetens it up without you adding a whole bunch of raw sugar in there, which is not good. So you can use maple syrup, you can use agave, you can use date syrup, whatever floats your boat, okay? And I'm going to add more cinnamon in there. Nah, it's not too spicy when you sweeten it up. Okay, I totally forgot to put the maple syrup in there, but now I'm so glad I didn't put it in the oven. Alright, so with your maple syrup, you want to add, I would say probably close to a quarter of a cup of maple syrup, because you really want it to be sweet, but not too sweet. And then you're just going to top it all off with your marshmallows and let it cook. Okay, just put them on there. Put this in the oven for 350 degrees. You want to bake it for about 15 to 25 minutes, okay? It depends on how you like it. I like mine nice and well done, okay? I don't like my marshmallows gooey. Like, I like them gooey, but a little toasted, a little brown. So you want to put it in there for about 15 to 20 minutes. And, oh, good job, baby. 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to put that in there, and then you might want to turn it up to 400 degrees to get a little toast. So look at this. See what it looks like? Oh, it looks delicious. It looks delicious. It looks delicious. With our sweet potato souffle, we're going to go ahead and put that on high. We put it on 400 degrees. And let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes on 400 degrees to get it caramelized. Alright, so I decided to check my sweet potato souffle a little early, and bam, yes, look at there. It is ready to go. So, yes, my marshmallows started coming out a little early, but you know, and kind of boiling over, but the sweet potato souffle is done. We're going to season them. We're going to saute them. We're going to add some onions and garlic. And we're going to let the onions steam up on those greens and just make them so nice and just delicious. Collard greens, y'all. Over here in the sink, we actually have our collard greens. Oh, sorry. It looks like it moved there. We actually have our collard greens soaking. And I actually pick them off the stems and keep the leaves, and I place them in water and vinegar and kind of let them soak a little bit, just kind of how my grandma used to do it. You know, grandma's way is always the best way. Alright, so for the ingredients that you need for your greens, okay, so make some succulent greens. You need some liquid smoke here. Of course, we're going to use the non-chicken bouillon cube. Trust me, it will not affect the flavor. If anything, it will enhance it. Some onion powder, garlic powder, and probably about a half an onion. You can almost use a whole onion for taste, and some garlic pieces. So let's get ready for some succulent, wonderful collard greens, southern style. We are going to saute some onions. I found that if you keep your onions nice and round and not dicing them, it gives a beautiful flavor, and it's almost like you want to layer it here. You kind of want to layer it at the bottom of your pot and let it sit at the bottom. And what you're going to do is just place all this in here. Like I said, don't dice them up. Make them nice and round as much as you can. And I did end up using a whole onion, okay? I love to use onion. When you're cooking vegan food, you need a lot of flavor. And this is where you're going to get it at, okay? Put your garlic in there, okay? And you're going to begin to saute those up. You're going to add your bouillon cubes. I'm going to go ahead and add them in. I'm going to do 1.5 to begin with to just get it to coat the bottom because they're going to get really nice and flavorful. It's going to help with the onions to get them nice and caramelized, okay? And then add a little bit of liquid smoke in there. Add your liquid smoke. Now your liquid smoke, you probably want to do about 1/2 teaspoon, but it's all based on your flavor of greens. I like my greens to taste like my grandma's greens and like to be real southern style, okay? So I like to give them that nice caramel color. Okay, you need about a whole onion. You could probably even use an onion and a half, but a whole onion is good. It gives you some good flavor. Pop over the top, turn it down. Okay, yes. Listen, you guys, I'm using this cast iron pot. You guys, like, my grandparents used to cook in cast iron pots, you know. That's an old school cast iron pot, okay? Look, that pot has been around for centuries, and it more than likely will be in my family for a very long time. I'm not getting rid of it. I cook with cast iron. I love it. It's beautiful, and it adds a good flavor. Not to mention, it does help us get our iron levels up. So you want to let that sizzle. You want to turn it down extremely low because you don't want your onions to burn. Oops, okay. You want to take your leeks. You really want to lay them down. Like my grandma was so strategic when she did it. And so you're going to take them, you're going to roll them up, and you're going to slice them, and they're going to come out like a roll like that. Add your greens to the pot. Add them in. And let the onions sit at the bottom so it rises up and it steams up to your greens. It gives it a nice, wonderful flavor, you guys. You're going to love it. Some good old southern collard greens. We now have our greens cooking. You can see it's a nice steam. The garlic is rising. So you want to add a little bit more of your liquid smoke in there. Add you some garlic powder. I'm running out of garlic powder, as you can see. Garlic powder, and add you some onion powder in there. Not much, just a little bit. And one thing I love to add when we get closer towards the end is a little bit of white vinegar, okay? Probably about maybe 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, but it just depends to your liking. But I like to add that vinegar bite into it. It reminds me so much of my grandma's and my mom's cooking, okay? So then you can mix it up because your onions are nice and sauteed. A little bit of water. We're going to take this water and add about that much. It's a pretty big glass, so I would say about 1/2 cup of water, or maybe even a cup of water. You just need enough for it to coat the bottom and enough for it to be a steam or a broil. Okay, look at these onions, baby. Look at that.
So this chicken comes from Monroe. No, they're not sponsoring this video, but if you guys would like for them to know more about this video, maybe you should tag them below or send them an email, let them know they should sponsor the next video with chicken, right? Okay, Monroe is a vegan company that has chicken, and it's vegan chicken, and it's amazing. You deep fry these babies. You know what? I'm not gonna say anymore. Just go ahead to the next clip. Here we go.
Okay, this is a vegan chicken. Monroe. They don't use soy for this, and we're just gonna deep fry it. You know, this comes like this. It comes frozen in a pack, and we're just gonna put it in the fryer for 5 to 6 minutes. So let's get to it. Let that chicken do what it's gonna do. If you do not have, or if you're not able to order at Monroe, since they do run out of stock, you can get you some oyster mushrooms, batter it up in some spelt flour, and put it in there for the same amount of time, and you'll still get that chicken flavor to feed the soul. If you're switching over for a vegan alternative, this is perfect. It's nice and ready, okay? Yes, look at that chicken. Looking like some good old tasty chicken, yes. If you want to order, they have a website. I'll drop it in the link below.
I saved a favorite for you guys because I know how it is to have a Sunday dinner without some dinner rolls, okay? So we made some vegan dinner rolls right here. They're kind of like the texture of biscuits, but you know, you can't have them without honey. So up next in this clip, we have some vegan. You want to try it? Oh, no! I took it out. You young school. I'm old school. We like honey on our biscuits. Okay. You like chicken, huh? It's good. Make you some dinner rolls with this recipe. This is the favorite, just a special. I added it for you. Here you go.
All right, guys, so I decided to add something special because it just didn't feel complete. So I added dinner rolls. You're going to need chickpea flour. You're going to need some ancient grain spelt flour, some Perrier or any sparkling water that you may choose to want, some blue agave or any sweetener like maple syrup or date syrup, grapeseed oil, sea salt, 2 cups of spelt flour. I'm gonna eyeball it here because like I've been making dinner rolls for quite some time. A cup of chickpea flour. We're gonna use all of this because we are at the end of this chickpea flour. Some
sea salt.
Some salt in there.
Salt.
Now with your Perrier, you want to add it gradually and mix it up. So pour it, mix it up. You want to mix it up till it's nice and thick. Okay, so I'm going to add some more flour in there. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of grapeseed oil and a little bit of agave here. The agave, you can put as much as you want. This is just kind of like to balance it out. It does give it more like a sweet roll, you know. And for as long as I can remember, my grandma used to make like sweet rolls. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So we let it rise for about 10 to 15 minutes. Remember, if your dough is really, really sticky, like this might need some more flour into it. I'm going to add a little bit more flour because it's really sticky, but you don't want it to be too sticky. Pinch some off and roll it into a nice ball. Alright, so here we have our sticky buns. I only did about 5 in the pan here. Into the oven 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, so we are done. These are our dinner rolls. We put them in the oven. If you guys want to see how they look, I still have them in the pot here and I'm about to burn myself, but I just want to show you what they look like. They're so hot. They're so hot. But yeah, almost looks like the texture of a biscuit. However, it's very soft.
oyster mushrooms, batter them up and put them in the fryer the same exact way. We actually do that very often here at the home. At Miss Monroe is kind of like a special treat for us. So when we do get it, we do enjoy it. But get you some oyster mushrooms, go down to your local market, maybe even grocery store, and get some oyster mushrooms, batter them up in some spelt flour, add you some salt, add a little Perrier in there to mix it up, and put those babies in the fryer, and you have your vegan fried chicken. As well, we want to thank you for aligning with Arianna, my website at www.alignwitharianna, or just come and visit us over there when we have some amazing vegan things. For more details, for more goodies, for more working your magic,